This video is going to be a film study look at Aidan Hutchinson in an attempt to answer some questions as to why he hasn't recorded a sack since the Week 5 win at home against the Panthers. Do I think he's playing poorly? No. Do I think he's playing below the standards that we have for him as a great player? I don't think so, to be honest with you. He's still generating pressures at times. His run defense is consistent. I will add in some plays at the end to show his run defense. It's consistent. He plays well against the read option. He plays well against base blocks. Just is generally going to focus on end zone angle film of him rushing the passer. What specifically is different in the last 4 games? Well, maybe not much. Every outside linebacker, edge defender, DN goes through droughts where they don't get many sacks, and then they binge for 2 or 3 weeks. And that's what I wanted to try to find out. Was there anything that looks different? Look, he only has 4.5 sacks this year through 9 games. There's really been no one on the other side generating consistent pressure. I'll attempt to show you a couple of things Aaron Glenn is trying to do to create one-on-ones for him and create pressure from other guys. He does have 2 fumbles recovered this year, and he's got a ridiculous interception in that game against the Panthers that I referenced. That gives him 4 interceptions for his career. I think it's pretty ridiculous and notable. A 6'7", 270-pound outside linebacker D-end. He's played 26 career games, and he's got 4 interceptions. For comparison's sake, Reek Woolen, 25 career games, had an unbelievable historic rookie year last year for the Seahawks. He has 7 career interceptions. Ahmad Gardner, the other great corner in that draft, at least in the first round, 25 career games. He has 2 interceptions. Aidan Hutchinson has 4. He's in line with defensive backs, top of the food chain defensive backs from the draft that he was selected in. 4 interceptions, 14 sacks in his career. It's insane production, if you ask me. But this is a serious look, attempted a serious look of, is there anything happening that's different on his end? And up front, I'll tell you, I don't think so. The effort is there. A couple of things, technique-wise, maybe, he does a little differently at times, but he's knocked off balance on 2 of these occasions. Every edge defender goes through a stretch where they have a drought. This is last year he had 2 3-game stretches, I believe, where he didn't get sacks. This is now 4 in a row against the Bucks, Ravens, Raiders, and Chargers. Again, we're going to focus on end zone angle film only. And I'll tell you up front that, I don't see much difference at all, to be honest with you, in how he's playing versus how he's playing earlier in the year, just either not finishing sacks or getting dealt with like this. So it would be huge. The Lions need him to dominate. And when I say dominate, I don't mean 3 sacks a game. That's unrealistic. But they need him to give them production that thwarts some of the things other teams are doing. And in some cases he does, like this one. I'm going to focus on the pass rush stuff. He's outside left, where he almost always is as an edge defender. You're seeing a lot of chip and release stuff, if you ask me, by tight ends or running backs. I don't see many plays where a tight end or a running back isn't on the same side as him. Sorry, my mouse is acting fool. Where isn't on the same side as him to delay his move, impede him in some way, and then force him to create a second or third effort just to get what would be regular pressure, meaning regular situation one-on-one against the tackle. He'd be able to get into this move quicker. The tight end or the running back is delaying him. It's tough to find him on an open side with no running back or no tight end lately. Great spin inside, kind of like his patented move to get pressure on the quarterback, force an incompletion on a 3rd down. Week 8 against the Raiders, 3rd and 10. Over here off the left side, we got the reverse image here. Chip by Mayer. I think it's Mayer, number 87 for the Raiders. Again, 3rd and 10. I think this 5-1 look is designed to create as many one-on-ones as possible. Hutchinson, like I said, gets chipped over there where the tight end is. Alex Anzalone finishes this off, holds Garoppolo 1 yard short. But the 5-1 look that I'm talking about is these 5 players here. Harris is normally the guy lined up at the nose who's variable. He's going to stunt. He's going to pick people, rub, so that someone else can get free up the middle. In this case, him and the defensive tackle kind of run into each other. I think that's Okwara stunting inside, unable to get there, and Harris and 95 fall down over each other. We're focusing on Hutchinson. This is kind of typical from what you've seen, what I've seen in the film that I watched. A chip release to try to slow him down, impede his progress. But it's not every snap. There's times where he's getting one-on-one, and he's just not winning in terms of getting the sack. I actually kind of reject the use of win or loss on every single pass down. Sometimes it's not something then you can win, in my opinion. So another 3rd and 10 against the Raiders. Sorry, this is not a 3rd and 10. This is a 1st and 10. This is the interception by Kirby Joseph. Another chip by the tight end. Seems to surprise Hutchinson on this one. Seems to knock him off balance. I'll replay it a couple of times. And it doesn't look like Hutchinson's getting ready to engage him like a run play. So it kind of seems as if he recognizes it's a pass play and he's not expecting the tight end to step out to him. Tight end's leaning into this one to get out into the flats. And you can see the timing is all messed up for Hutchinson to try to get back into the picture. He's actually off screen. But is the all 20? The end zone is kind of zoomed in. It's not like all 22 where they want to get everybody. They just want to get the offensive line and tight ends and running backs. Great play by Kirby Joseph. Sometimes it's not a tight end that's chipping him. Like I've mentioned a couple times before, it's a running back. This case against the Ravens, week 7. Again, he's on our left because we got the behind defense view now. 3rd and 11. Nice job on the rip, I think, to try to get through those two guys. Downfield pass to Zay Flowers. I thought Moses did a good job on some reps against Hutchinson. I really did. Moses has been pretty good for the Ravens in the last couple of years. I thought that Hutchinson ran less games with his hands, meaning trying to draw out Moses' hands and then utilize his move. But you can see that they're chipping him. He keeps fighting through underneath. He's the only guy getting anywhere near the quarterback. Let's do it that way. And that's one of the things that I think is a problem as it relates to defending a pass at times. We kind of saw it last week against the Chargers. There wasn't a whole lot of pressure on Herbert. 3rd and 6 against the Chargers. Wide receiver is lined up over him down to the bottom side. I like this angle better than some of his upfield rushes. He does get some displacement on the right tackle. Kind of walks him back into Herbert. I just watched the Bengals and Ravens again before I recorded this. Kind of walks this tackle back into Herbert's lap, and that really impacts the throw, if you ask me. Ends up being high and incomplete. Hutchinson often doesn't play at this angle that I'm showing you here. He kind of plays at this upfield angle, and it's designed to get his speed rush and then bend, or any other type of outside rush, or the spin back inside. Those are his main two moves when he plays at that upfield angle. This one, more of a bull rush, I actually really like a lot. Some part of me would like to see him use it a little bit more. I feel like from a fighter's standpoint, he's not a hand movement winner on a play-by-play basis. Doesn't mean he's not good at it. What I'm saying is he's playing a different game. He's playing the speed rush upfield rush versus my inside spin move to try to get the tackle to set too much versus other guys that'll play at more of that tighter angle. That's what I'm saying to you guys. Against the Ravens, again, speed rush. I think this is a nice job of, he's not a speed rush guy, but it's something, you've got to show it to him. And this is a nice job. I think he's drawing Moses' hand out and then rips under immediately to clear him, try to get his hips past. Good job by both guys. Good job by Hutchinson and Moses. I think Moses could possibly be called for a hold there. There has to be a point in time at which you let go, and I think Moses is 3/4 of a second late or half a second late in letting go there, and to me that's one that could have been called. It's a 3rd and 7. It's man free. The Lions are bringing 5. I feel like I have to address the blitzes and coverage and stunt on some level. The Lions are bringing 5. It's man free. So here's your 5 rushers. Akwar, you got a game in here with these 3. Hutchinson over here. Additionally, Anzalone is on the running back. Since they're bringing 5 in man free, normally in typical man free, it's a 4-man rush. You'd have a low hole dropper somewhere in that portion of the field between the hashes. In the middle of the formation. That guy's not there because he's the 5th rusher. He's the add-on, and Rashad Bateman is wide open on a win against Cam Sutton. It's kind of the game you play sometimes when you bring 5. You vacate areas. It's the quarterback's job to find those spaces and fit the ball in there, and it's Aidan Hutchinson and the D-line's job to get there first. In this case, Aidan Hutchinson was unable to do so. But I still feel like it's a good move by him. 3rd and 6. Ball is out very quick here. So this goes back to what I was saying earlier. Sometimes it's not a win or a loss. It's just the ball's out too quick to get there, and the O-line doesn't have to do much in terms of protecting the quarterback for an instant. Getting upfield vertical, and this is the angle that I'm talking about. He's one of those guys, I think, and I like it. I think it's great. It's working for him. He gets upfield more to set up his spin move to the inside, and he'll use those intermittently or, exchangeably, I should say, throughout the game. You'll see that spin move here in a few plays. 3rd and 5 against the Raiders. He's trying to chop. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about I don't feel like he's a hand fight guy right now. I'm not saying he's not good at it, but it's not as effective as his 2-move rush, which is either the outside speed rush, with a rip, or the inside spin. These moves to me don't seem to be his strength. I don't know that means anything in terms of him being without a sack for 5 weeks. It doesn't mean anything about how great of a player he is. It's just style of play. Some guys like to shoot jump shots. Some guys like to take 2 dribbles and shoot a fadeaway. Some guys like to go all the way to the rim and try to finish there. Aidan Hutchinson, if you ask me, is a guy who plays upfield and then spins inside at times to counter it. Against the Chargers, again, second effort, the spin is ridiculous here. It's a nice job, if you ask me, a smooth integration of it. And I want to compare this spin to another one here later on. All spins aren't the same. They're all not going to be effective. But when I say second move, you've got, first of all, I think the right tackle's right hand is on his neck or the bottom part of his face mask. I like there's not as much of a violent finish with the left arm on this spin. So I'm talking about what's going to happen right now. We can't see his left arm. But there's not as much of a violent finish through there to kind of swat that guy back and use that tackle's body for momentum. And sometimes you'll see that, but in the middle of the play, things are dynamic, and he's quick with it. He's reactionary with it. But you'll compare this one to one in a couple of moments where the spin is a little bit more stationary, I guess. But it's ridiculously effective for him to clear the right tackle, get a pressure on Herbert. I think he actually puts Herbert on the ground. 4th and 2. Against the Raiders, you know where he is, right side of our screen. He gets Jimmy G off his spot, but compare this spin to the last one. It's things that the right tackle is doing. Fortunately for the Lions, Jerry Jacobs and Hunter Renfrow run into each other. But compare this spin to the last one. This one's stationary. What I mean is he's not gaining ground on the spin. It's not anything he's doing wrong. It's the right tackle had just reached out to punch and kind of got him slightly off balance on the spin, so the spin is more in place. That's what I mean by stationary. And there's no ability to clear him with his left arm because his hips and his shoulders, at least, his upper body isn't past 77. Consequently, 77 is able to continue to push him out of there. They do get Jimmy G off his spot. Renfro's breaking open. Jerry Jacobs smartly leaves his guy and collisions with Renfrow. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what people want to call it, but that's an example of what the angles that he plays at, if you ask me, against the pass. Get to some inside alignment stuff now. So lined up on the inside, either going to rush against a guard or stunt to the outside. He's down here in a 3-point stance on the same side as Okwara and Kaminsky. 3rd and 6. I picked a lot of third downs here, as you can tell. Trying to get him free, I think, is what they're doing. Okwara is stunting inside. It's a great job in coverage by Jacobs. Okwara is stunting inside, trying to get him free against the left tackle, which they do. Left tackle is able to keep him out long enough. I think it's Miller. Keep him out long enough. I'm not sure that from the right side, it doesn't seem to me his angle is the same. Now, on this one, he's actually, he's stepping out. I'd be interested to see him rush from the right side some more, to see him play with a bull rush more and hand fight. And I think that as he becomes, progresses through his career, the hand fight game playing at a different angle will become another element of his rush game. I've seen it at times, but more consistently when successful, it's as an edge defender, it's up the field or it's up the field spin inside. Inside kind of gets stacked up here, but there's some congestion. 3rd and 9. Julian Okwara and Anzalone are running the stunt over here. Anzalone is pick screening the tackle, and then Okwara's coming underneath here. Like I said, it's a 3rd and 9. So you've got a win on the other side. It's not an organic win, meaning it's not just a let's line up and win. But that's not, I would say most sacks are like this one. Most sacks are not organic wins, or it's on second effort, or someone's flushed out of the pocket and the second guy there finishes them off. It'd be great if Okwara could provide some consistent rush from that other side in an organic manner, or on stunts like you just saw. Another one inside left. On the same side with Okwara and Kaminsky again. Anzalone on the opposite side, very similar to the one you just saw. 3rd and 12. I believe this is a great effort by Hutchinson, first of all. He ends up getting, sandwiched between two offensive linemen, hustles over to punch Baker Mayfield out of bounds. Tight end kind of chips down on Okwara, and that consequently pushes Okwara into Hutchinson, and you've got this weird mashup of those two guys. So Hutchinson's rush is kind of done. Harris is stunting around. You see the speed. Great effort. Some people thought it should have been a penalty. Inside alignment, again, we got the opposite view. So he's on our right, over top of the right tackle. He's going to loop around. Look, the Bucs O-line does a great job on this play. It's a 3rd and 7. Look at all the stuff that Aaron Glenn has happening here in terms of the stunt, guys crossing face. You got one guy looping here. Another guy looping around. We're bringing two right into Baker Mayfield's face. Bucs O-line handles all of it. 69 has handled 2 at the same time pretty much. Baker Mayfield's able to get it out to, I think, Trey Palmer. But Hutchinson's on the inside, got lined up again. And every punch here, the right tackle is just a step ahead of him. Every punch, he's hitting Hutchinson just before Hutchinson's able to do anything with his hands. Just one of those situations where he's unable to get close to the quarterback at all. Do I think that he's going to go multiple weeks without sacks many times in his career? No. He's a finisher. He's going to make plays. I'm just showing you guys some of the plays, the result of which has been him not having a sack for 4 weeks. Run game, it's consistent, effective, high-level effort, finishes plays, great tackler. It's a 1st and 10 early against the Chargers. Seems like this could have been a keep read for Herbert. Hutchinson stepping down, closing down. It's a 2-yard gain. Nice fold in to tackle Austin Eckler and kind of slam him on top of, I think that's Jack Campbell. He's stepping down to take running back because Anzalone is outside of him, off screen, went with the motion. Almost like a gap exchange, but it's a pre-snap gap exchange because Anzalone had to move with the motion. So I'm sure Hutchinson knew that. He consistently takes the dive on our left-hand side of the screen now. Read play, week 7 against the Ravens. He takes the running back. This is the fundamental thing to do from a football standpoint. Your tackle blocks down or pulls. You follow him and then tackle whoever the heck shows up. In this case, it's Justice Hill. It's a violent football play, the way the game is meant to be played. Anzalone is folding over the top for the quarterback. Unfortunately for the Lions, you got a brilliant play here by the Ravens, play call, I should say. It's an RPO, so the gap exchange is defeated because OBJ's running a little snag. So it ends up being a run play that turns into a pass play, post-snap RPO. Some are pre-snap RPOs. Option football is a pain. All right, second instance, he's on our right-hand side of the screen here. Similar scheme, it's a keep read for Lamar again. Hutchinson is stepping down with the back. Lamar and Justice Hill have had trouble with the mesh. Previously, they've kind of eliminated it this past week. But you can see Hutchinson is running down with the running back. Lamar is trying to pull it now because he recognizes it should be a keep read. I don't know why he didn't know that anyway. That's what Hutchinson does. So Hutchinson steps down with the running back to force a keep read. Ends up being a fumble. Hutchinson takes it away from Justice Hill. Last one, different technique. He's a 6 technique, head up on the tight end. Sometimes you'll get a guy playing a 6 technique where their visual key is the tackle and their pressure key with their hands is the tight end. This is kind of the opposite. Hutchinson's kind of stepping down with the tackle, so it's a little unusual for me, at least the way I understand it. He's stepping down to the tackle. In the middle of the play, is able to spin and hold Jacobs to 4 yards. This is kind of what he does in the middle. It's just an athletic dude. I mean, it's ridiculous that he's 6'7", 270. It reminds me, I don't know if you guys know this, I think the average NBA player in terms of build and size is like 6'7", 6'6 and a half, 6'7", and like 245 pounds. This is a guy who's average size of an NBA player. So he's like a small forward, power forward in the NBA, and he can move and do athletic stuff like this in the middle of the play through contact. I think he's having a great year. In no way, shape, or form did I expect to turn on the film. Like I said, I saved 52, 53 plays. In no way, shape, or form did I expect to turn on the film and say, oh, he's struggling with this, he's struggling with that. Are there opportunities for him to get to the quarterback earlier? Yes. Does he get held at times? Absolutely. Starting from week 1 against the Chiefs, there's just no doubt about it. I'm not sure what that dynamic is. Does it happen to him more often? It seems like it, but I watch Ravens film and Lions film. So in my brain, of course I notice it more because that's the two teams I watch. I see all of their snaps. So I don't have the ability to accurately say it doesn't happen to the Jets DNs that much. It doesn't happen to the Bills DNs that much or the Raiders DNs because I don't watch those teams week in and week out. To me, looks like he's playing the same. I don't get any sense that there's some hidden injury that's reduced explosiveness. I don't get any sense that he's not reading his keys the same way he has in the last year and a half in Detroit and prior to that at University of Michigan. I had no worries at all that the guy will produce, and he plays very well against the Bears. He did last year. I think he had 12 tackles and 1.5 sacks in 2 games against the Bears. So here we go on Sunday. I'll be doing a reaction video for the game. You guys let me know if you want to see any other videos prior to that game. I'll try to do one preview for Saturday morning, but I got a lot of Ravens film to get to Friday. Appreciate you guys' time. If you think other Lions fans would appreciate and enjoy this film study, hopefully detailed look at Aidan Hutchinson's play in the last 4 weeks, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.